Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. Hey everyone, and welcome to another GTA Online bottom dollar bounties video here on the channel. And this one is going to be an interesting one because we're going to be investigating some mysterious details about the new bail bounty van and how it seems to have a very interesting past that may have even been connected to the elusive Cops and Crooks update that we were supposed to get back in 2020. So to introduce the mystery here, you probably have noticed by now, when you go and customize the bail bounty van, there's really not much customization to this vehicle. You have one armor plating option and the ability to respray it. That's it. You can't even remove the livery if you want to. You have to have it on the vehicle. For a service-style vehicle, that's extremely bare bones, unusually so. Because even things like the Brickade 6x6 from the Jug Wars update have armor options, performance upgrades, wheel customization. That's just kind of what you'd expect when it comes to a ground vehicle within GTA Online. But for some reason, the bounty van doesn't have any of that. Well, it turns out the bounty van actually does have a decent amount of customization made for it. But for whatever reason, we just don't have access to it within the game. For example, there's actually 3 different forms of armor plating for the van instead of the one that we have access to in online. One of them is like the same form of protection you'd see on the regular police transporter van. The second one is a slightly more upgraded version of that. And the third one is the fully kitted out one that we have access to with the heavy covering of the windows and the extra little mesh panels on the sides of the vehicle. However, you may have noticed that the armor plating here does not give you the push bar that the one online does. Well, that's because there are 7 different push bar options for the bail bounty van, and not just one. But again, for some reason, we just don't have access to these, even though they are just sitting there in the game files unused. And there's also some different aerials that you can equip to it. However, the only one that actually shows up is the one with the 2 antennas at the top of the vehicle that you can see here. And even outside of just the unique customization though, this van really should give us the options that exist on basically every other car, like suspension, performance upgrades, changing the rims. It's all there. It all works if you use mods to equip such things in the game files. And it looks just fine. Even removing the livery, I don't know why that's not an option if we just want a stealthy bounty transporter van without any markings on it. And the armor upgrades really could have helped with explosive resistance, as in its current state, the van blows up in like 5 rockets, I believe, if there's someone inside the vehicle. If there's not, it's like 2 rockets. Even if this van just had performance upgrades though, take a look at how big of a difference just having the usual performance upgrades like the turbo, transmission, engine, brakes on the bounty van makes versus the one we have now currently. That is not a small difference. That is a massive game-changing difference. And for a vehicle that we are required to drive sometimes across the map, those performance upgrades would surely help out a lot. So why didn't they give us them? Well, we know Rockstar already has an obsession with making us drive slow vehicles across the map, so that could possibly have something to do with it. Or it could be just laziness to not include such simple features on a ground vehicle. It's probably a combination of both. God forbid we pay for upgrades, by the way. These aren't free upgrades, they would cost money. But God forbid we, could pay to upgrade our vehicle to make the missions less painful. But even omitting the other upgrades and just combining the armor plating and push bar is an odd choice, because you think, why not just give the player the choice there? The more customization we have access to, the better. And the bigger question here is, why would they even bother making the upgrades if we can't use them? Well, I think we can make some inferences based on some information from the game files and just previous things that leakers have said. Let's refer to the Cops and Crooks supposed vehicle list. These are the model names for vehicles that we would have likely gotten in the cancelled 2020 update. And out of the vehicles on this list, we got the Police 5 in the last update, that's the LE Cruiser. The Police Greenwood we got in this update, and the Police Gauntlet we got in the last update also. All of them, by the way, have the exact same model names right now in the game files as they do here on this list. There's one vehicle on this list though, the Police T2, which would have been another variant of the Police Transporter, which has the model name of Police T, and we can spawn it in-game via that model name. The bounty van in this DLC has the model name of Police T3, which is weird because why would there be a Police T3 before we ever got a Police T2? The Police T2 does not exist at the moment. If you try to spawn in that vehicle, it comes up invalid, which is just further proof that the Police T2 does exist somewhere behind the scenes at Rockstar Games, and was likely supposed to be included in that update back in 2020. So what I think possibly happened is these upgrades were possibly made for that second version of the police transporter, and they likely have existed for years now, but with the Bounties update, they just wanted a slightly modified version of the Police T2 to use for it and then codename the Police T3, which is exactly what they did. However, they didn't disable the extra leftovers that it has attached to it from the second variant of the vehicle. That's my most logical reason for this. Although I do think it's a huge mistake omitting so many upgrades that should just be a given for every vehicle that we can own and customize within the game. Like I said, performance upgrades, general armor upgrades to make it more tanky. I think that's a bit ridiculous. Will we ever see that elusive Police T2 or any of the other Cops and Crooks vehicles added in future updates? It is very much possible, as we seem to get at least a couple every DLC. But let me know what you guys think about this bounty van situation. Do you agree that they should have given us, at the very least, performance upgrades for it? And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.